Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with your match preview show for Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest coming up on Saturday at 3 p.m. kickoff. And to go through this game with us is George, the man himself, the legend himself. How are you doing, mate?
Hello, Rich. Hello, everyone. I'm good, mate. I say I'm good. I've had a rubbish day, but I won't bore you all with that. It's yeah. I should. I was considering just writing the whole day off and going to bed, but I can't let you boys down, Rich, can I? So here I am to chat about the Villa.
Exactly, mate. Exactly, and it wouldn't be the same without you, mate. I don't think
Cheers, mate.
everyone could have dealt with half an hour, 40 minutes of me yabbering to myself again. But yeah, always good to have you on, mate. Always good, guys. We are so close to 3,400 subscribers. We've had a great response this week to the channel. Obviously, we had Max Stokes on the other day from Villa on Tour. It was a brilliant show. So if you haven't caught that, please do catch that. The fans forum. It was excellent show. And yeah, we've done a couple of other bits this week, but I think we're 15 subscribers away from 3,400. We want to get 4K as soon as possible, so help us out by liking and subscribing to the channel. And if you want to become a member, just $1.99 a month, less than a third of the cost of a pint. And those that are members may have noticed some little badges next to their name, and we've got some fantastic little Villa kits, and each a different month of how long you've been a member, you might get a different kit alongside your name. So yeah, hope you've seen that because there's some it's a really good addition to the channel. Mark, who is watching tonight, has very kindly designed for us. So thank you very much, Mark, for that.
He's a clever boy,
Gaza,
Mark, isn't he?
he is. He's brilliant. He's brilliant. Gaz is in the house. Good evening, mate. Deontay is in the house as well. Lewis, you're not late, mate. Don't worry about that. Great to have you here. We've got Peter as well. Dor, yes, I've just been on Dor on Tour's channel, so thank you very much to him. Yes, you can give us much stick as you want, mate. It's great to have you on board. Michelle's in the house as well. Good evening to you. So yeah, we're going to get into it. We've obviously got a big game coming up. Black Rum in the house as well. Good evening to you, mate. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk. Obviously, Villa's situation at the moment. Have we turned the corner? At the moment, we've had had some positive performances. So can we keep that going? We'll talk some of the players who we think are going to be key to the game on Saturday, and we'll obviously cover Nottingham Forest players because I think they've got some dangerous players. I'm sure George thinks the same as well, and we'll go for our predicted lineups and obviously score predictions at the end. So and also your comments. So make sure you keep your comments flowing into the channel. So George, first of all, Villa, good result against Fulham last week. Good solid performance as well. You were at the game, obviously. So a real good away day for you. Um, would you suggest now we've kind of potentially turned that corner? Obviously, with a good performance against Man United, albeit not the result we wanted. Beating Sheffield United a couple of weeks previously 5-0, and then obviously getting the result against Fulham. Do you think that corner in terms of the bad form has been turned?
Yeah, I'd like to think so now. I mean, I think I come on after Man United and I was very downbeat and very upset about that, how that went. And I was a bit doom and gloom, which I know is not really what I normally like. But with all the injuries, I just felt things were starting to topple up against us. But yeah, the Fulham game was I wouldn't say it was a surprise, but it was a welcome return to form. And I remember saying on the end of that podcast, saying we're either going to go two ways now. We're either going to galvanise and sort ourselves out, or we're going to feel sorry for ourselves and go down the pan. And I'm pleased to say that it seemed to be the first one we did, and really good performance at Fulham. And I thought 2-1 flattered them massively. I thought we could have cruised that game if it wasn't for the silly mistake conceding the goal that we did. But yeah, great atmosphere. The fans were in full voice down there, and it felt like no one's given up. In fact, I'd say that's probably the best Villa atmosphere I've been in probably in about 2-3 years. It was a really, really good day out. Met some great people, and yeah, it just felt like all's not lost, and we're still in this race for the Champions League. Whether we get it or not, I don't know. But yeah, things are still looking all right. The defence looked okay, didn't they? The midfield played well without Kamara, which was a big concern, and they sort of passed that test. So yeah, on to Forest and see what happens then.
Exactly. And yeah, I do think similar. I do think similar. It's one of those that we always talked about these games, these three games in a row. Obviously, coming up with we've had Fulham, we've beaten Fulham, we've got Forest, and we've got Luton to come. We always thought that these three games would be the key ones to see: are we in that top four shout? Are we in that top four race? And we've obviously we've obviously passed the first test, and this is the next one at home. And we've had a couple of dodgy results at home, and yeah, we need to put that right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what we is three defeats on the bounce in all competitions in it at home after going 17 unbeaten. It's just crazy, really. And yeah, it was just. I think this is a very important one for us. We need to sort of turn the tide there, get the early goal. I say it every time I come on here. Get that first goal, and the games tend to go Villa's way. But concede it, and it can get very edgy there at the Villa Park, can't it? And it can the grumbles start, and it's the here we go agains and all that. So yeah, it's definitely a winnable game there for us. I mean, Forest are a dangerous side, quick, can't they? Quick, powerful, kind of like Man United, Newcastle light, I'd say. So they are going to be a danger. They've already beaten us at their place. So yeah, it's not one to be overlooked. So yeah, we've got to have to be on our game to get the 3 points.
Exactly, exactly. I'm just putting my thumbs up to everyone in the chat. Thank you very much. And loads of people talking about, and again on Mr. Dawes' channel, talk about the famous 5-5 draw that we had,
Yeah.
and is it likely to be another 5-5 on Saturday? Are you expecting goals in this game? Do you expect Villa and Emery to approach it in an attacking manner? And do you think, Nottingham Forest would potentially do the same?
Yeah, I can't see why not. Yeah, I can. I mean, most of the games at Villa Park this season have been reasonably high scoring, haven't they? We had quite a few threes and fours. God, yeah, that 5-all game, that brings back memories. I think that was how we ended up with Matty Cash, wasn't it, after that? Because he'd had such a stormer for them. And next thing we ended up signing him. But yeah, as I said, they're a dangerous side. Forest, they score a few goals themselves. Got dangerous players like Alanga, Chris Wood. The guy, is it Awomni? He's rapid, isn't he? I know he's had a few injuries, but looks a real good player every time I've seen him. And he's one I'd be worried about. So yeah, I think there could be goals in this, Rich. What do you think, mate?
I think the same. I mean, I think the way obviously they've got Nuno in, and I'll get your thoughts on him in a second. But they've got him in, and I think one of the things that he does, and it's interesting because the players that he's got at his disposal, particularly moving going forward, are kind of like his dream forward line. That's what he loves, doesn't he? He loves to kind of um, hit teams on the break with real pace, and that's what he's got with Elanga and Awanyi and Morgan Gibbs White and Callum Hudson-Odoi. That's what he's got. Now they've let in a fair few goals. That's the only thing I would say. But in terms of like a way that an Aston Villa play and at the moment, and a way that Nuno likes to play, it kind of suits his style. So it's just about, can we keep them at bay in terms of that forward line, and that's the danger.
Yeah, of course it is. But at the same time, we're very dangerous going forward as well. And I just wonder whether Emery might think, do you know what? We've got half our defence are missing out of the squad. Maybe he just trust ourselves to go and outscore Forest. If we concede a couple of goals, so be it. Maybe we score 3 or 4. I don't know. I mean, the cagier games have been more away from home this year, haven't they? At home, it's been as I said earlier, lots of goals. Bailey loves a goal at Villa Park. Ollie Watkins, Douglas Luiz scores loads of goals at Villa Park this year. So yeah, I think you're talking me into a goal fest, Rich.
There's a few in the chat. So Peter said it should be a good game. Lewis said we owe them one for the shite match at the City Ground. Gaza said we're still in a very precarious position, and Forest have already beaten us this season. We have to show them the respect they deserve. I absolutely agree. Peter also said just hope it's not another 5-5, and
I'll
then
take
Gaza
six
said
five.
yeah, Gaza said it could be another 7-7. Lewis said we would have won by about 4 goals last weekend if the ref was doing his job right, and the same with VAR. Apparently, there's another new referee for us this Saturday. Who's been fast tracked. So yeah, we'll see about that. Mark says we need to guard against complacency again. They're dangerous. Another clinical Olive performance again. Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, PJJ said we've yet to play the three above us and Spurs, so maybe higher than fourth. Just saying. Oh, you never know. And he thinks there'll be goals. So, yeah, a lot of people saying that. And Deco's in the chat as well. Thank you very much for joining us, mate. Um, so yeah, I mean, just touching on that, what do you think of Nuno coming into the side to manage the team? Obviously, Steve Cooper did a great job getting him up and keeping him there. Just seemed to fizzle out. And yeah, what did you think about the appointment of Nuno?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird. Well, it was a bit of a weird one. It wasn't. It wasn't really. I was a big fan of Cooper, like you say, worked miracles there. Got them up into the Premier League after like God, how many years they were down there? They must have been down there since the back end of the 90s, from what I recall. So to get them up was an achievement and a half, and he should have been really getting the freedom of Nottingham, shouldn't he? But he kept them up first year in Championship. Am I right in saying
Mhm.
that? He did, didn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and
Kept him up
obviously
first season. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
difficult after that, isn't it? I mean, obviously you've got players galore bought for him, didn't he? And a whole new squad, very similar to when we come up. And he's managed to keep him up the first time round, but maybe second time, either he's been found out a little bit, or that there was more expectation on them, and he couldn't produce. And I guess the chairman's trying to look after his interests, isn't he? And Nuno's been around the Premier League now for God, what feels like about a decade now. Kind of like a safe pair of hands when he done a very, very good job at Wolves. He went in at Spurs, didn't really work out at Spurs for him, but he kind of knows his stuff, doesn't he? And yeah, maybe this is going to work out this time. I always thought he was a bit pragmatic, but like you say, maybe this squad he's got now suits him a little bit more, and he can go and play on the counter and get some success like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think it'll be good for them. I know they're kind of got this points deduction looming over their heads, and I think they're waiting for this, obviously, to see what happens with this Everton appeal. Um, but it's going to be interesting because I actually thought they were higher up in the table than they are. They're like 16th on 24 points, and obviously to get that points deduction could take them right into that bottom three. Depending on how many points it is. So yeah, they're in it. They are in a bit of a precarious position, Nottingham Forest, but as you say, Nuno probably seems like a safe pair of hands to kind of turn it around for them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Everton have got the deduction already, but with
Yes.
this second breach, I reckon that there's only a few months left of the season. I reckon they'll be able to delay that, delay that, delay
Yeah.
that, and nothing will happen about it this year. So I don't think that will come into play with where they finished this season. Personally, I might be wrong there, but that's they're going to learn, aren't they? They're going to think, hold on a minute, Everton complied with the FA and got a ban. Man City just blanked them and didn't get a ban. So what are Forest going to do? I'd imagine they'll be going to be quite elusive and not be answering them emails.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly. Um, just talking on Villa, with regards to how we might approach the game. Um, who's in the chat there? Sorry, Paul says, despite our injuries, with Torres back and playing well, and Watkins, Bailey, McGinn, et al. Are all on form. So, like I said right at the start, it does seem like there's a few players that are coming back to, like as a team, coming back to form. So, who are you expecting to kind of, I guess, show their stuff against Forest? Who are you really looking at to be the talisman or the talisman, as it were?
Well, last week having Pau Torres back, God, what an absolute pleasure that was to watch him. I mean, we've been saying all season, haven't we? Like, I've actually criticised him early on for looking a little bit slow and leggy, but he's obviously getting to grips with the Premier League. But what I didn't realise was how good he is at reading the game. He's such a cool character. All the control in the world, isn't he? He can like see passes 5 seconds before everyone else knows it's on. I mean, he's been one of our best attackers, and he's a centre back. And I think that was what was when we had that little dodgy run and we were getting a bit annoyed because the play wasn't so free flowing and nice. I think Pau Torres was huge for that, and now he's back. He showed it last week. I mean, we controlled that game at Fulham and took it to them. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to him, and I think he'll be a main man. Yeah, other than that, you're looking at Leon Bailey's having a great season, so I'm hoping he'll carry on. Watkins banged the brace last week, and he must be sort of 20 goals is in the picture now for him, isn't it? And and obviously the Euros, Tony's now back fit for Brentford, so I think it's kind of a race between them two, maybe to see who's going to go. So it's Watkins needs to be banging them goals in. So yeah, this you can be
Isn't
looking
it
forward
isn't it
based on that.
amazing? Isn't it amazing how 2 weeks just changes like the whole outlook on Villa and I guess one player or two players coming back into form a little bit more just completely turns it around. It's amazing, isn't it?
it's the nature of the beast, mate. We're all so reactionary. Jesus, I listen back sometimes. Like I'll listen back a few days after we've done a pod, and I think, oh, cringe. Sometimes I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, it wasn't as bad as we were making out.
You
But
just have to go with it, though, don't
that's
you?
your emotion at the time, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
what we do. That's what we're on here for, aren't we? To be real.
exactly.
So we make no apologies for that. But yeah, it was just it felt everything was toppling against us with the injuries. I thought, and then Man United are getting decisions on that, and you're thinking the FA it's all looked like it was designed for us to drop out, United and Tottenham to nick them spots, and it's back to basics, isn't it? The top boys are back where they should be, and little old Villa are back where they should be.
Yeah, exactly. It does, but now it seems they're on that turn. We're just
I hope so.
coming through, and it does, it does seem that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to put my predicted lineup on soon, so you guys get your predictions in terms of the lineup before the scores. But yeah, make sure you do hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. As I said before, last check we were 15 subscribers away, only 15 away from 3,400 on the road to 4K. So yeah, please do like and subscribe. And if you, as I said before, if you want to join the channel and become a member, hit the $ at the bottom. Follow the instructions, just $1.99 a month, and get your Villa kit next to your name. So who have we got in the chat here? Lewis is very confident. I'll come to his score predictions later. Peter says, "Are we agreed? Are we better on the counter than they are?" I say yes. Well, that's a thing as well, isn't it? That's the thing. Villa can play in different ways. Villa can play on the counter attack with the pace of Leon Bailey, and we can obviously play through the thirds with different players. So we've got lots of options that can attack. And you mentioned it before, George, with the likes of not necessarily being too obviously being wary of Nottingham Forest attacking threat, but also we've got a hell of an attacking threat as well. So
Yeah,
that's
they'll be more scared of us than we are of them. I should think.
yeah, exactly. So this is the starting lineup I've gone for. No surprises. Um, Emi Martinez in goal, Cash, Longley, Torres, Moreno across the back, McGinn and Louise at the defensive points in midfield, Tielemans and Ramsey, and then Leon Bailey with Ollie Watkins up front. I don't think there'll be any changes from last week's lineup, to be honest with you. I was surprised that Emery didn't have his press conference today. I thought he might have it today, but so we haven't really got any news of any players injured or otherwise, or anyone coming back to fitness. But anything that you're kind of expecting any different, mate?
No, I think that's probably right. I mean, it's interesting with Moreno now back in the side, isn't it? That Lucas Dean's obviously in the squad as well. I always thought that Moreno was the better of the fullbacks, and I think I still do. But Luca Dean was sort of like really becoming like a fan's favourite, wasn't he? Like it looked like he'd nicked the shirt. So it's if Luca Dean was to come in, it wouldn't be a massive shock, would it? But
No.
I think them two, like it's it's either or, isn't it? Quality wise, both good players,
Yeah,
but otherwise than that, I would say it kind of picks itself, mate.
yeah, it's interesting because like you say, Luke Dean was playing really well. I just think for these next 2 or 3 games, it will be difficult to bring Luca Dean in to start this one, particularly with the pace that they've got out wide. And you're asking someone to get used to the pace of the game straight away. And it does seem like Moreno is kind of getting to that groove of like, a number of games, similar to Ramsey, few games, and now they're kind of like up to that match sharpness.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Them two help each other, don't they, as well?
yeah, you saw like against United those passes, those 1-2s, and then obviously the same. Not so much on Saturday. Obviously, we did the Talking Tactics show with Gareth, and there wasn't a great deal of attacking threat down that side, but you can see them kind of getting that sharpness back, and I think with the pace of um, who would be on his side. Alanga, I think Alanga would be on his side. It would be wise to play Alex Moreno, and then the week after, obviously you've got Ogbeni against Luton, so it'd be wise to play them. But yeah, Luca Dean's been great. I just can't see anyone else coming into. I can't see Diaby starting. I can't see anything else in midfield. We don't really. I can't see Tim Irigbonham starting. because I think McGinn and Louise played pretty well in that position.
You know that Fulham game, Rich, and we
Yeah,
was on here on the preview, and we were sort of saying who was going to be the deeper lying one. I was at the game, and I'm not even sure. I still don't really know who it was. They kind of just
no,
mixed it between them, didn't they? It wasn't an
yeah,
obvious Kamara replacement there.
yeah, 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 exactly. It was it, I- me and Gareth kind of talked about it on the Talking Tactics show. It was almost like Fulham. They were set up quite well tactically, and they had like the right players to kind of really put pressure on us, but they didn't do it. Like they didn't commit. They didn't commit to like pressing us really high, and then they didn't stand off us. They kind of went a bit half
Caught in
and
a bit of
half,
both.
and then that meant that Louise and McGinn didn't have the necessary pressure from their perspective. It was obviously great for us, but they didn't have the necessary pressure on them. So then they could take a touch, they could turn, they could run with the ball forward, and one of them could be like, "Oh, you go forward this time, John. I'll stay back." And vice versa. Whereas saw against Newcastle, you saw against Man United, neither Kamara or Louise could get out, and that's the difference. You've got to do it together, and you've got to commit to it, or we'll just pick you off, and that's what we did at the right times.
Yeah,
So
no, it's interesting, mate. But yeah. As regards to this one, I guess the onus is on us to, as a home team, to go and get on them, isn't it? So I'd imagine, the midfield will probably be the same.
yeah, yeah. I can't see Tim playing. It's a shame, isn't it? Because you want to see the likes of Irabonham, you want to see Rogers, you even might want to see a Kane Kessler Hayden, but we've not been in a position where we've been comfortable enough in a game to say, the Sheffield United game, yes, fair enough, we gave them a few minutes, but you want to do that like 2 or 3 games in a row, and we haven't been able to do that since then. With kind of the situation in games, to bring Eric Bonham on for half an hour and give him a shot, to give Morgan Rogers 20, 25 minutes. We just haven't been able to do it yet, and
No, it's
it'd be
always too
nice
much
to
at
get that
stake, Rich.
situation.
It's too
Exactly,
important, isn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Peter said would be good to get Deeney more minutes. I hope we smash them so we get minutes for the bench players. Exactly what I've just said there. Conference will be starting up soon. We want everyone comfortable on the pitch. 100%, Matt. I totally agree. I totally agree. Um, so get your score predictions in the chat, guys. We've got a few in there that I've starred, so I'll go through them in a second, and obviously I'll get George and I'll give my score prediction. So a couple we've got here. Lewis says he's going for a 6-0 win for the Villa. Feel bad for Forest as they will be the third match at Villa after we've just lost the last two. Emery will be rallying the team. That's a confident shout. That is Lewis. Steven says 2-1 Villa with a late winner. That's going to be. I think that's possibly a little bit more realistic on that sense, but it'd be great to get a 6-0 win. PJJ says 3 or 4-1, which would be good. So George, what are you saying for the score and scorers for Saturday's game?
Let me think. Yeah, we've talked about goals here, haven't we? So I'm going to go for a bit of a goal fest. I'm going to go for like maybe a bit something similar to the Burnley game. I'm going to go for a 3-2 Villa win. Maybe one that's not as comfortable as we like, but hopefully we still get the job done. Let's just hope it doesn't wait. We don't have to wait till the 94th minute to get a penalty to do it this time. But yeah, I'll go 3-2. Watkins, Bailey, Louise, and yeah, the Forest goals. I don't really care, to be fair, so I won't give you no scores for them.
Watkins, Bailey, Louise. So Watkins gets his 14th Premier League goal of the season. How many would that be for Douglas Luiz in the Premier League?
It's got to be what, 8? I reckon.
Yeah, he's got to be on 8, hasn't he? He's got
Must
to
be,
be.
yeah. Yeah, hopefully he can maybe get to 10 before the end.
That would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
And Bailey as well.
And
What's Bailey on?
Bailey,
Bailey must be double
I think
figures.
Bailey's on. He's either on 7 goals and 6 assists, or 6 goals and 7 assists.
Oh, I thought he had a bit more than that.
In the Prem. In the Prem.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just gonna have a look now. So let's have a look at Louise. Unless anyone in the chat. So Louise has got seven goals in the Premier League at the moment and 4 assists, and Bailey has got where is he? I can't even see him. Oh, there he is. He has got 7 goals and 6 assists. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd fancy
So
both of them to maybe
there's a shot
notch
there.
10, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. So yeah, we've got more coming in. Yeah. So Peter says Bailey and Dougie both have 7 goals. Peter Welsh says, sorry guys, got to back my team. He says
Yeah, fair
2-1
play.
Forest. Of course, mate, of course. I wouldn't expect anything else. Peter Collins says a ruthless, clinical 2-0. Ramsey on the score sheet and Bailey. That would be good. Paul says 3-1 Villa win, a Watkins brace and Bailey to score. That would be very good. Adam says, what's this symbol next to my name? Well, you have now, as a member, you have a little kit next to your name. And depending on how long you've been a member for, depends on the kit that you've got next to your name. Very, very kindly designed for us by Mark. So, yeah, enjoy those as becoming a member. So, Michael says 2-0 Villa. That'll be great. Adamski says 3-0 Villa. And Deco says 3-0 Villa. So lots of confidence there. CC in the house says we have to be on our toes with our focus and intensity as they are coming into Form 2, and they will be looking forward to challenging our offside trap again. And she also says 2-1, very competitive match. I did actually check their form, and they obviously won their last game against West Ham, but they haven't had great form before that. They've lost their last. I think they've lost their last 3. They've lost 3 out of the last 4 in terms of the league for them. So yeah, they haven't been brilliant. Oh, sorry, they lost to Newcastle 3-2. Drew in against Bristol City 1-1, but obviously went through, and then they drew with Bournemouth 1-1 and lost to Arsenal 2-1. So yeah, they haven't been fantastic in terms of form, but I think they've certainly had an upturn in performances, which has been interesting for them.
I know they were saying that their form away at top 4 clubs has been horrendous, like over the whole season.
Yeah,
So
their
hopefully
CC
that
said
continues to continue.
they've lost, but have been playing well. They did play really well against Newcastle. I thought they were really unlucky. Tombo Jones says 2-0 Villa. So yeah, and Deco said really want to see Diaby and Bailey playing together some more. Well, look, I think hopefully that we'll be in a spot where we can bring them both, keep them both on the pitch tomorrow on Saturday, which would be great. I'm going to say 2-1 Villa, similar to other people in the chat. I think Ollie will keep his. Um, I think Ollie will score, and I do think Ramsey will get a goal. I think he's due one, isn't he? He's due a
Yeah.
goal, but I do think Forest will cause us some problems. So
We've
yeah,
got
that'll be
we've got options from everywhere to score, you know. Like Tielemans likes a goal, doesn't he? Moreno likes a goal from left back. We've got plenty of goals in our side.
yeah, yeah. Steven said random. The kits don't show when you put a comment up on the screen. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it works. To be honest, Matt, I'm not 100% sure, but I know they do come up when you show up as a member. But I don't know if they come up every time you put a comment, and I'm not 100%. Just a quick one, George, before we go. Your thoughts on kind of this situation with regards to, I guess to the pressure to finish in the Champions League spots, or the pressure to finish in the Europa League minimum spots because of this, financial situation that Villa could be in, with regards to kind of the wage bill, the need to kind of bring in additional money. What do you think about this situation? Do you think we're going to be forced to sell one of the big names? Do you think that we're going to be, there's going to, if we don't finish in the Champions League, we're going to maybe be looking at, a bit of a fire sale? What do you think?
It's something that's always concerned me, Rich. Even before these owners, I'm still scarred from Tony Jar's reckless spending and us nearly going bust like 4 or 5 years ago. I've banged on about it, haven't I, to you guys? In last summer, like everyone was excited, and I was kind of pissing on the cornflakes by sort of saying, I just kept looking at the wage bills and the new contracts just building up and building up. Stephen Gerrard really didn't help. He's come in, we paid him a fortune. Gary McAllister and his coaching staff a fortune. Then he signed Coutinho, Luca Dean, Dendonka, all on huge money. And then of course, like we've got Mings, Konza, McGinn, Martinez, all new deals. Bailey just signed the new deal, and to me, it's they're all worth them new deals. They've done well, but the problem's always been at Villa. Where are we making this money? Because we're not. Everything's kind of behind, isn't it? Since Emery's come in, he's accelerated the form on the field rapidly, and I think the club's probably struggling behind a little bit, trying to sort of catch up to where the team are. But other than the 100 million we got for Grealish, we've done a bit of wheeling and dealing now, haven't we? With like 15 and 20 million players here, but we've not like you look at teams like Brighton, the sort of money that they pull in for their players.
Well, I saw that they made 153 million euros profit
Yeah,
apparently on this UEFA document, and Villa made 158 million loss or whatever it is. Now,
I can
I
believe it,
think
Rich.
yeah, 100%. I think some of it's going to be written off as like exceptional losses because obviously you've sacked a manager and you've had to bring someone in, so you can kind of there are things you can offset against things. But you can certainly see why they've had to go down the route of, and we were talking about this on the fans forum, like why they've had to go down the route of selling academy players that have come through the academy because you get it pure profit and you can write that off over the 3 or 4 years in terms of the debt, and then buy in young talent that is like 18, 19, 20 that's kind of unproven. You can see why they've done that, and then you have to say like there is gonna, regardless of whether we finish in the Champions League or not, because you've seen this with Newcastle, just because they finished in the Champions League spots like last season for this season hasn't meant that they've been able to spend loads of money, because you have to wait for the next year for it to show up on your accounts of what you've brought through.
Yeah, I think
It's
apparently getting to the Champions League, you only get about an extra 30 million for that. I
yeah.
mean, I know it's 30 million every team could do with, but it's not like life changing amounts of money for a football club. I just think that it's that off the field thing, the commercial stuff and all that. We're not a London side, which I think there's a massive, massive advantage and bias for the London clubs. They've got everything going in their favour, like from what they can charge their fans for tickets straight away, all the merchandise, the tourists that want to go and see a game. They're not really going to come to Villa, are they? They're going to be going to Tottenham. They're going to be going to Arsenal. They want to see London. So it's tough. It's tough. The Midlands is not a massively fancy place. Birmingham's getting itself on the map. It's done a bit, but I just think as a club, we're kind of trying to act the big club. We're spending the money. We're now doing well on the pitch, but that's all got to kind of line up, hasn't it, with the money you're getting in? And I don't know. I mean, like
Well,
when
I do. Yeah, I think I think it's inevitable one of the bigger name players goes,
yeah,
regardless of whether we hit Champions League or not. I do think that will happen. And then I think I wouldn't be surprised if I would not be surprised if a Musa Diaby goes and we try and get our money back on him. I really wouldn't be surprised in that. Like I really like him. I really want him to do well, but I just wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens. But like I'm sure as Sam was quite relaxed about it. I'm sure that we've got accountants, we've got looking at various scenarios that we would have to go through. We've got people at the helm who know what they're doing, and they don't make this money for nothing. Like they know how to kind of operate in these choppy waters, and also it won't just be Aston Villa that are in
no,
this
no, no.
situation, and that's the other thing as well.
No, it just seems all of a sudden now. I mean, that document I put up on our group chat the other day, and it was showing all the kind of unfashionable sides in Europe that have all suddenly like gate crashed the top fours of their divisions. And it seems to me that it's no coincidence that all of a sudden now there's a bit of a hoo ha about finances when you've got teams like Man United, Chelsea, sort of on the outside in this country, and giants all over Europe thinking, shit, we're not going to get in this year. And is it going to be a changing of the guard? So we need to, it feels like the heat's being turned up. So like teams like a Villa or a Brighton, Wolves, players like that are all going to be linked with like their top stars leaving. Like you've already heard the rumours of Watkins to Arsenal and all that, haven't you? And, so it wouldn't surprise me if everyone had to maybe start cutting their cloth a little bit.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
not, though.
No, exactly, exactly. Lewis thinks it was bad business selling Grealish. He was worth more than 100 million to us. He's a global star. People are following the team because where a player is. I do agree with that, and people
We'd
are
have been
buying the
bust by
kits
now if we
second
didn't
hand.
sell him, mate. I'm
But
telling you that
yeah,
now.
I don't think. I think part of that is the Man City thing. I don't think we'd have had the same impact with him staying at Villa. But look, he actually helped us keep everything going and bringing these players in and where we are now. So we can't really be too kind of disappointed in him.
He's the
Uh,
only big sale we've had in probably 10 years. And that tells you all you need to know.
exactly. I mean, we've had what? It's
20
5
big
million,
Benteke, right?
15 millions. Yeah, we've not really had. Have we had any? Did we have any 20, 25 millions when
Like
we were in
Chukwuemeka went for like 20, I think, didn't he?
20? Yeah, yeah,
But when you're looking at like Brighton and Brentford's, mate, they're getting like 60,
yeah.
70 million a player.
Exactly. Well, that's one thing that you think we will have now. We've got some
Yeah,
real
there's
big
saleable assets
saleable
now.
assets now. Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, question as well. Another one. I did really want to cover this as well. So thank you, Deontay, for getting in the chat with this. Who could Villa draw in tomorrow's Europa Conference League draw? So we now have we now know who's through: Maccabi Haifa, Ajax, Dinamo Zagreb, Servette, Union St. Gilloise, Olympiacos, Molde, or Sturm Graz. Um, who are you thinking there? Who are you wanting there?
Uh, it depends. What do we want? Do we want like there's
I
obviously
knew.
there's one. Go on, mate.
Yeah,
What were you going to say?
there's a glamour tie there, isn't there? There's a glamour tie.
Yeah, let's face it. We'd all like the little trip to Amsterdam if it was offered to us. But do you want to glamour tie this early? Like, do you want to save it to the final? You kind of just want the easiest team possible now, and just to keep getting through.
Exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, there's because you forget there's obviously the group winners. I don't think we can't draw one of the group winners yet, so
Right.
that's that. But uh, an Ajax obviously would be fantastic. Zagreb, Olympiacos, another big side, the big ground.
Well, I hope they don't get
So
to the final because it's in Athens, isn't it? The final.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
hope
yeah,
someone
yeah.
takes them out before that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would be bad. And then Union Saint Gilloise, is that Belgium? Are they from Belgium? I think
I've
they
got
are.
Switzerland in my head, but something's saying you're
Oh
right, Rich.
yeah,
I'm not
might be.
sure.
Someone in the chat will tell
They'll
us.
tell, they'll tell us, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think it's tomorrow, isn't it? I think it's tomorrow, 12 o'clock, the draw. So I'm going to try my best to do a quick video to react to it. But yeah, who do you guys want in the chat? Let me know in the chat. Michael says Mulder. He wants. They beat Legia, didn't they today? So they went through against
Did
Legia.
you see the video of the Legia fans? You know they had a ban, didn't they, for obviously what
Yeah.
they did at Villa? Did you see this, Rich?
I saw the picture of someone saying that it was an empty part of the stadium, and then they
Yeah.
had like some sort of tifo with like glasses saying this is like we're back or so.
The first one said so it was an empty stand, and a big sign says, "Sorry, UEFA, you were right." And then it moves over to the other side of the ground, and there's a big old banner, like a big full stand saying, "Surprise, motherfuckers."
Yeah, yeah,
So they've all just
yeah,
moved.
yeah. I mean, it does make a mockery of the rules, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It just makes them, in that sense, I'm glad they're out, to be honest. But yeah, it's just silly. It's silly. Just do a full stadium ban or nothing. Like, don't. Like, why do a stand? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Who knocked them out tonight, did you say? Oh,
Mulder
fair
knocked
play,
them
yeah.
out.
I thought they were a good
Yeah,
side, Warsaw, so I'm glad they've
yeah.
gone.
Ajax just about went through as well. I think it was extra time against Bodo Glimt.
Oh,
So
yeah,
they
because they'd
just
lost the
about went
first game,
through.
hadn't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Fair
No, they
play.
got a 2-2 draw in the end in the first game,
Oh,
and
okay.
they just about won to there. They just about got through. Deontay, yeah, Union Saint Gilloise from Belgium. Some people are saying it's Benteke. I think where he came, or I think so anyway. Deontay says they would prefer Sturm Graz, but think Villa will draw Olympiacos. PJJ said Ajax, they're crap at the moment. So yeah, be interesting seeing 12 o'clock tomorrow. It's all kicking off again. Europe is back. Comes
Did
around
you go?
quick,
Did you
doesn't
go
it?
years ago, Rich, when we had Ajax in the UEFA Cup?
I didn't, mate. I didn't. I went to the games when I was a youngster, but I didn't go to kind of that mid time when we were under O'Neill.
Oh,
I
so
was
that was
that
some
was
night.
that
That
was
one
in
of my
my
best.
that was in my semi-pro manager days when I was managing Garforth Town, so I couldn't really go to many games.
I see.
I was in like I was at Salford City on a Tuesday night and bloody Curzon Ashton. So yeah.
Were you
I
suited up,
think
Rich, or tracksuit?
tracksuit, mate, tracksuit.
Tracksuit manager.
Yeah, I wore a suit and tie at the West Riding County Cup final when we
Love
beat
it.
Bradford Park Avenue. But yeah, other than that, it was just tracksuit. But yeah, it's gonna be great. Obviously, Conference League back, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm not doing a live stream tomorrow, mate. I think Luke's doing one on Up the Villa podcast, so catch him. But I'll be traveling to Manchester for a weekend away with the wife, so I'll be I don't think I'll get away with it doing the live stream, to be honest with you. But yeah, but I'll be back for match reaction, I'm sure, after the Forest game, and full match reaction with the boys on Sunday. So hopefully after a victory, which would be great. And yeah, George, anything for you to finish up? Are you confident going into Saturday? Are you confident going into these next few weeks?
Yeah, they're all important games. Obviously, Forest and Luton. That's going to be a tough one as well. Away at Luton, they're not giving away easy points these days. The Tottenham one's going to be absolutely huge. But the most important thing at the moment is just everyone to stick together, crowd and players and club. And secondly, just not to get any more bloody injuries. If we was to lose a Torres again or a Watkins, we could really be screwed. So just need to stay fit and just get through at the end of the season and hopefully get some of the injured players that are already out, get them back. So yeah, other than that, mate, yeah, I'm confident and I'm hoping we can get 3 points.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I've just seen in the chat there, Peter Collins, I believe, is over from Canada, staying in Digbeth. So, people in the chat or anyone going to the game, get in touch with Peter. Let him know the best pubs. I know the Witten Arms now up near the ground has a really good marquee and stuff, and
Yeah, I've been
there's
in there a
plenty
few
of
times.
pubs obviously in Digbeth, plenty of pubs in the city centre. And get yourself over then to Witten Station and get in the Witten Arms, mate. It'd be good, some good, and you'll get looked after very well from Villa fans. So, yeah, absolutely. I think we'll call it a night there, George. We're all in confident mood going into Saturday. I'm saying 2-1. You're saying 3-2. So there'll be plenty of goals. Hopefully 3 points marching into that top four. People, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you are new to the channel, we are on the road to 4K. Thank you all for watching. And as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa. Thanks, everyone.